Welcome back, and thank you for joining us for part two, Fast Food Facts, Things We Should Know. I'm your presenter, Paul Moore. Today's presentation is brought to you by the Wellness Center and Employee Wellness. In part two, you can see entitled, Would You Like Fries with That? Learning to Navigate the Fast Food Lane. We're going to look at some fast food choices and let you decide which you think would be healthier, and then show some of the actual numbers. So remember, this is the time when you will need to bring your sheet of paper that we looked at for part one with the important things to remember. So when we think about what we want to eat for lunch, for snacks, breakfast, these are things that generally come to people's mind. We obviously want something that tastes good. We want something that's satisfying. So we want something that's going to maintain and keep us full, or at least not hungry, from breakfast to lunch, and then again maybe from lunch to dinner, or sometimes just from lunch to our maybe a mid-afternoon snack. In today's world, obviously, there are times when we want something that's fast. We may not have a lot of free time or time to cook and prepare, so we want something that's fast. And the next point, we want something that provides lasting energy. Again, kind of going along with the satisfying, we want to have energy to make it through the afternoon, after lunch, or to make it through the morning from our breakfast meal. The next is we want something that's healthy. I think a lot of us are aware of our health, and through participating with Love Your Life, you're making the first step in that direction. And so then the next step is, to look at foods that are healthy, try to make some healthy choices as best as we can. The other thing is that we want food that makes us feel good, whether that's because of the energy, the satisfying, but we generally want something that makes us feel good. A lot of times what we get are what's on your screen now. You can see a lot of times instead of getting the things that are satisfying, that provide us with energy, we end up with things that are high in calories, things that are high in fat, and generally we get a lot of times things that are just too much from a portion standpoint. Obviously portion sizes are important and really a solid key to a healthy nutrition program. If we look at fast food in particular, you can see that a lot of times it would meet all those criteria. A lot of our fast food choices are going to be high in calories, it's going to be high in fat, and overall it really is just going to be too much. So how do we make the healthy choice? That's where we're going, kind of the next step. And so we want to look at some of those things in today's presentation. Words to watch out for. If we go to a menu or if we're looking at menus, crispy, creamy, fried, buttery, cheesy, all these are kind of caution words. If we see those on the menu, you may have seen a crispy chicken sandwich, or we've got a soup that's creamy, we've got our fried foods, our buttery foods, our cheesy foods. The fried, the buttery, the cheesy, all kind of translate into high in fat, high in calories. So we want to be careful with those words. Again, one of the keys here is moderation, but these are definitely words to be on the watch for and to look at in your menu selection. Instead, you can look for grilled, sautéed, steamed, broiled. Now, not 100% of the time, but a majority of the time, these are going to be healthy alternatives, especially in comparison to the terms above that we just talked about. Okay, so let's start and look at our first choice. Okay, so let's start and look at our first choice. And again, what would be helpful is if you have your important things to remember from the first presentation with our recommendations for calories and fat, saturated fat, sodium. If you want to go ahead and get that out in front of you now, that'll be helpful. And then in your head, we can think about which of these is a better choice. So we're going to start with Wendy's. You can see which salad is better. We have the apple pecan chicken salad and the Baja salad. So which one do we think is healthier? If we look at the numbers, we can see the apple pecan chicken salad has got 560 calories. It's got 27 grams of fat. So how do we think the Baja salad is going to compare? It's got 730 calories and 47 grams of fat. So we can see we're just under 200 calories less for the apple pecan salad. We've got 20 grams of fat less than the Baja salad. And so you can see if the choices are these two, the apple pecan salad would be the way to go. Now, if we can look at our numbers, and let's say we need 1,500 calories per day. So let's shoot on the low end here. If we look at that, this salad, the apple pecan chicken salad, would give us close to a third, or a little more than a third of that number. Compared to the Baja salad at 730 calories, is going to give us about half of that. So a third to a half. So we may not think that 200 calories or almost 200 calories is a big deal, but we went from a third of our daily calorie needs to half just in that salad choice. If we look at the grams of fat, how much do we need in a day from what we talked about last time? That's right, 30 to 100 grams. So we're looking at 27 grams of fat in the apple pecan chicken salad. So we're not quite to that bottom number. Obviously we're very close, but not quite. Whereas the 47 you can see is in that range of the 30 to 100. So we really could be done with our fat for the day if we're going on that recommendation. Let's move on to McDonald's and look at a few of their salads. You can see on the left we have the bacon ranch with crispy chicken. On the right you can see we have the Southwest salad with grilled chicken. How do we think these compare? Which one do we think is healthier or going to be lower in calories and fat? If we look at the numbers, you can see the bacon ranch with crispy chicken has got 370 calories. It's got 20 grams of fat. You can see the Southwest salad with grilled chicken has 320 calories and 9 grams of fat. So again, if you think about our key words here, if we look at the bacon ranch with crispy chicken, obviously we can probably pick out bacon and ranch and understand that that would potentially give us extra calories and extra fat. We've got that word crispy again that we talked about earlier in the presentation, so we want to look out for that. And then compared to the right hand side, again we've got the grilled. Okay, so you can see the fat is cut in half from the bacon ranch to the Southwest salad. Not a lot of difference in the calories. There are 50 calories, but remember that all calories are going to add up over the course of a day. So we are making a difference, again, whether we think so or not, with that minimal amount of change. All right, how are we doing so far making healthy choices? Let's move on and look at Panera. We've got 2 salad options from Panera Bread. We've got the chopped barbecue salad versus the Caesar salad. So think about if we've had one of these or either of these, think about how we think they may compare. Looking on the left at the chopped barbecue salad, it has 500 calories. It's got 22 grams of fat. Do we think that's less than the Caesar salad? The Caesar salad has 280 calories and 25 grams of fat. Again, if we're looking, the Caesar salad has almost half of the number of calories of the chopped barbecue salad. The fat is a little bit higher at 25 grams, so it's got 3 grams of fat more than the chopped barbecue salad. But I think the difference in calories is going to outweigh the 3 grams of fat in this case. So the healthier choice, in my opinion, would be the Caesar salad. Did we get that one right? Okay, so let's move on. We've done a few salads. Let's try something different. What about a burger? You can see we're going to compare the Wendy's 4th pound single to the McDonald's single. Which one do we think is a healthier option as far as calories and fat is concerned? If we pull up the Wendy's 4th pound single, we can see it has 550 calories, 28 grams of fat, compared to the McDonald's single at 250 calories and 9 grams of fat. So we've got the same kind of issue with about half the amount of calories. All right, so there's an example, a hamburger example for us. How about another one? Let's compare the Burger King Whopper to the Hardee's 3rd pound thick burger with cheese. What do we think? We've got the Burger King Whopper versus the Hardee's 3rd pound thick burger with cheese. Which one is going to have less calories or less fat? Looking at the Burger King Whopper, it has 670 calories. It's got 40 grams of fat. The Hardee's 3rd pound thick burger with cheese has 620 calories. It has 33 grams of fat. So the Whopper, you can see, has 50 calories more. It's got 7 grams of fat more. I don't want to say that either one of these are the best choice, because we can look at the numbers and see that that is not the case. But you can see that both of these being high in calories, 670 calories, 40 grams of fat for the Whopper, 620 calories, 33 grams of fat for the Hardee's 3rd pound thick burger with cheese. We can see that we could make a healthier option at either location as opposed to either one of these burgers. The other thing to keep in mind, the Hardee's 3rd pound thick burger with cheese is gonna, because of the cheese, is gonna add some of the calories and some of the fat. If we added cheese to our Whopper, it's gonna do the same thing as far as adding fat and adding calories. Okay, so that was a couple of hamburger examples. And so if we look, you can see the slide is titled Easy Ways to Slim It Down. So again, the goal here being to learn how to make some of these options healthier, reduce some of the calories, reduce some of the fat that's in the meal. You can see the first suggestion, ask for dressing on the side. If we can do this, it generally is going to reduce the amount of dressing that we're going to use overall. In doing so, we're going to reduce the amount of fat, we're going to reduce the amount of calories. Suggestion number 2 is hold the mayonnaise. Mayonnaise is going to be a high calorie, high fat food. Again, it's going to depend on which restaurant you're eating at and what the food item is that you've ordered. But again, it's a good idea to ask to have the hamburger, have whatever the menu item is without mayonnaise. If you've got to have the mayonnaise, again, if we can ask for that on the side, hopefully we'll minimize or limit the amount that we're going to actually use. So the first thing would be, if we can hold the mayonnaise, that would be great. If we need the mayonnaise, if we could ask for it on the side, that would be an alternative as well. Similar with the cheese, cheese is a favorite for a lot of people, but if we can hold the cheese, we're going to limit or help to limit the amount of calories as well as the amount of fat. Cheese is also going to be a food that's high in saturated fat. If you're looking at your notes, you can see that we really do want to limit saturated fat to 10 grams or less in the course of our day. And cheese is going to fill up a substantial amount of that 10 grams, if not more, obviously depending on the amount. And our last suggestion, you can see, is only eat half and take the rest home with you. If we're going out to eat, maybe not at a fast food restaurant, but one of our kind of sit-down restaurants, Ruby Tuesdays, Applebee's, Outback, a restaurant along those lines, you can ask when you're ordering the food to bring out half and to go ahead and have them put the rest in a box for you to take home. This is obviously a good idea from a nutrition standpoint, because it's going to help to automatically limit the amount of calories that you're going to consume at the meal. And it's also good from a financial perspective, because you can use that take home. You can bring it for lunch and you eat it the next day. Maybe you eat it again for dinner the next night. So we've got a dual role as far as benefits, both from a nutrition standpoint as well as a financial standpoint. The other thing that's not mentioned on the slide is obviously to make, smart choices, to look at some alternatives, and we're going to do that in an additional part of this series. So stay tuned for that. Another suggestion to keep in mind is to look ahead, to look at the menu before you go. For those restaurants that you're going to frequent more often, to look and see what their healthy options are, and to plan accordingly. You can pull up any of the information on the internet at their website and look at how many calories foods have, look at how much fat some of those foods have, and then you can take it from there and make a smart choice, but more importantly an informed choice, and know what you're going to get ahead of time. And that's going to conclude part 2. Again, thank you for joining us for this presentation from Employee Wellness and the Wellness Center. And we will look forward to talking to you in a future presentation.